Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are all doing really well. Now for today's video, I wanted to share with you what my Big Four experience was like as a graduate in my first year of starting at Kpmg. I always receive a lot of emails, a lot of questions, comments asking me to sort of explain what my experience was like, the type of work that I did, the environment, work culture, etc. So I thought I would shed some light on this and create a video for you guys detailing my entire experience for the first year of working at a Big Four firm. Now mind you, I started working at Kpmg in Australia in 2017, so a lot of the processes may have changed since then. I definitely do know that when I started off there was actually no graduate program operating at the time, but now there is a graduate program where the first year grads are required to do a rotation between different divisions. I know this because my brother recently went through this. He did the rotation program last year, but when I was obviously there was nothing like that. We would jump straight into internal audit / risk consulting. So if you are interested, then please keep watching, and if you haven't already, then please do subscribe to my channel down below, and let's just get started on this video. Before I jump into this, I do want to mention that this video is sponsored by Nordgreen. Now if you follow me on my secondary YouTube channel, BYSANJNA, you would have heard me talk a lot about the Nordgreen watches. As you can tell, I am actually wearing one now. This is the Philosopher watch in the rose gold, but today I wanted to share with you another timeless watch which Nordgreen was kind enough to send me. So for those of you who aren't aware, Nordgreen is a Danish watch brand, and they create timeless watches for all genders, all ages, and all types of people. They are really well known for their timeless, minimalistic, and very classy design. And that's definitely one of the reasons why I was eager to jump on board to collaborate with Nordgreen. Not only is it the watch itself that I absolutely love, I also look at the brand and what values they stand for as well. So Nordgreen definitely ticks that on a lot of different levels because they are a very sustainable and ethical brand. So a few of the reasons which I absolutely love Nordgreen watches is because they are carbon neutral. So they are constantly planting thousands of trees to make sure that they are offsetting their carbon emissions. Not only that, but they also have sustainable packaging. So a lot of their boxes and packaging is made from upcycled plastic bottles, which is amazing for the environment. Responsible manufacturing, they obviously treat their employees with the highest standards of care, and this is something that I absolutely support and back 100%. And they also have a give back program as well, which I think is amazing. When I purchased this watch, I was able to choose from 3 NGOs that have partnered with Nordgreen. You can choose to donate 2 months of free clean water. You can choose to provide 2 months free education to a child in India. And you can choose to save 200 square feet of rainforest as well, which I think is amazing. So whatever cause sort of relates to you and you really sort of believe in, then after purchasing your watch, you are able to enter some codes in and they will contribute those to whatever cause you have chosen, which I think is amazing. So now moving into the watch that I really want to share with you. So as I mentioned, the packaging, this is what the box comes in. So as you can see, it's a gorgeous navy blue box, and there is the watch along with the second strap as well. So this is the watch that I picked up. So the watch that I've picked up is the Infinity watch in silver, and I absolutely love this watch. I think it's such a beautiful design, a very minimalistic design. It's very much similar to the watch that I'm currently wearing, except for the fact that it is silver, and I've picked up a silver metal mesh strap as well. And I was also able to pick up another strap which I can interchange with this watch, and this strap is a brown vegan leather strap, and I cannot wait to wear this and style it with a lot of my different items. Now if you want to get your hands on a Nordgreen watch as well, so as it is coming towards Black Friday, Nordgreen definitely have an offer for you. If you're looking to pick up a new watch, then definitely use the code down below. I'll leave it here on the screen as well and in the description box. You'll be able to get 35% of the entire range by using my code SAN35. Now Nordgreen's official website for Black Friday is generally 20 to 30% off, but if you use my code, you'll be able to get 35% off the entire range on all products, and this is honestly the biggest discount that anyone can find online. So be sure to check it out. And just a reminder, Black Friday sales are running between the 23rd of November to the 30th of November. So be sure to get your hands on this watch, or any other watch for that matter, before it does run out. I'll leave all of the details in the description box. You can click on the link below and it will take you to the discounted link code. So be sure to do that. Alrighty, now moving on to the video. So starting off from the beginning, when I stepped into the office of Kpmg, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the context and what it was like and the environment as I walked in on my first day. So on the first day of joining Kpmg, we had our induction, which was with the entire graduate cohort for that year. So I think there were about 200 people, give or take, and we all sat in one room and had a massive induction, and had an induction about Kpmg, its history, background, values, and what they're doing in the industry, and how they're really sort of, setting themselves apart from all of the other big four firms as well. So this was a full day induction. This is where we received our laptops, our IDs, we took some photos, got to meet, who was in our team, and got to meet other people as well who were from different teams. This was definitely a networking sort of event. We had breakfast and lunch was provided as well. So it was definitely a very, very interesting and very exciting experience. And the induction only lasts for a day. Moving on to the next few days, we were obviously introduced to our actual, wider team. So as you guys all know, I was part of the risk assurance or risk consulting internal audit division. Walked in for my second day, and there were 4 of us in that graduate cohort for my division, and we were introduced to our team. So I was introduced to my financial services team because that was the division I was going into, and then the others were going into corporate or government. So stepped in, and you see the beautiful office, and walked in, and everyone was busy working, looking like they knew exactly what was going on, and it just looks like everyone knows what they're doing and they're confident. Also on this day, we also got to meet the wider team as well, meet everyone on the floor. We did a building tour, which was really nice, just so that we're familiar with a lot of the facilities. And then for the remainder of that week, and for the most part of the following week, we were required to do online training. So these are basically your e-learns, the safety training, all of the hazard, risk, and all of the company sort of knowledge training. And then I think it was very specific risk consulting training as well. And towards the end of that online training, I believe we did actually do a quick crash course into risk consulting, into internal audit, which was led by one of the managers, I believe, at the time. So this was about a 3-hour crash course into risk consulting, what to expect, what the work actually looks like, what are the types of activities you'll be involved in as a graduate. And yeah, this was basically the fundamentals and the basics of risk consulting, which I thought was very valuable because I didn't actually know what was happening stepping into risk consulting, and I was in this division which I didn't really know much about. So that was amazing that they had run that for us. Okay, so after the training and everything is all done, you are basically settled in, and then you start sort of jumping onto different reviews, helping out. Now be mindful that you are a graduate, so you're not going to be sort of involved in a lot of the nitty-gritty work. They're obviously making you comfortable with everything. I do remember my first engagement I worked on. It was a financial services organization, and I think they were a branch of superannuation we were working on. I remember working on with a consultant who had been there for a year before I did, and there was also an associate director on the job. So we traveled out to the client in the city, had a walkthrough, which was lovely, and that's essentially my first review. And I was so happy because the consultant that I was working with was super friendly. I'm still friends with her today, and I was definitely very close with her in the firm as well. So she was a really, really good buddy for me, gave me the intel, gave me the lowdown, what to look out for, what not to look out for, who to meet, who to talk to, etc., etc. So I think it's very important having someone like that you can trust quite early on, and building that relationship from the beginning, finding someone that you're comfortable with and you can talk openly with. So yeah, this girl was my go-to person. I'm not sure if she's going to be watching my video, but she probably is. Hi Selena, if you are. So basically for this first review, I was involved in obviously taking part of the walkthrough, taking notes and then summarizing those notes. And I was also involved in control testing as well, preparing the RCM or the RACM, the risk and control matrix. And I also did assist a little bit with the report writing, creating maybe the background or the executive summary section to the best of my ability. So little tasks here and there. That was basically what I was involved in. So yeah, that was definitely a great experience for my first engagement. And then you move on to other engagements, other reviews. And if you're not put on to reviews and there's a bit of time in between, then you're usually sort of asked to get involved in other people's reviews. That could be government, that could be corporate, and I'll be doing basic things like formatting, preparing slide decks, rolling over reports, or rolling over scope documents, proofreading, working on creating slide decks or creative pack, or even organizing team events as well. So there's a lot of admin, a lot of smaller duties that you do get started off with, just to get yourself sort of familiar with how everything works. And in between that, I actually did take ownership and accountability to sort of set some time up with the senior consultants, to show me how to use the budgeting tools, how to run work in progress or WIPs, and how to do my timesheet, how to submit leave, all of that admin stuff as well. I think is very important to get your hands on and get to know how to do quite early on, just so you're not busy stressing about it later on, and when it does come to you know exactly what to do. Now fast forward 2 months, I was actually put on my first secondment. So within 2 months of starting, I was seconded to the management consulting team for 3 months. I was so excited because I felt like I would get a different perspective on things. I'd be able to do a lot more traveling, because I had told me that this was a traveling secondment, so I was very, very excited for that. It was a lot of regional travel, which I honestly did not mind because I hadn't traveled regionally anyway. So we went to places like Wollongong, Maitland, Gosford, Newcastle, all in the sort of New South Wales, Sydney area. So if you're familiar with that, you would know. And I was helping a lot with process mapping, process improvement. I was holding walkthroughs with my senior as well. I remember there were 2 consultants and there were 2 senior consultants, and I was paired up obviously with a senior consultant from management consulting, and I started off shadowing her in the beginning just to sort of understand what to do, because obviously it's only been 2 months since I've started and I don't even know internal audit, so let alone knowing management consulting. So she was a great sort of mentor for me in the beginning. I definitely learned a lot from her, and then once I sort of gained that confidence, being able to conduct my own walkthroughs, I was doing that, and I was meeting the client, talking, doing things a lot more on my own once I did start getting the hang of it. But yeah, definitely really enjoyed my time in MC. I think the whole traveling component, being new to the firm, being new to the real adult life, is just super exciting. So yeah, traveling was something that did keep it exciting. Booking hotel rooms, staying with my friend who was also a consultant, I think was a really, really good experience quite early on, and that's definitely an experience that I will never forget, because I feel like I learned so much during that time. It was genuinely amazing. And then fast forward to 6 months. Honestly, 6 months flew by. I didn't actually even realize that time had flown. I was having a great time. And then from the 6th month to the 12-month mark, I was within the office. I was assisting with other reviews, other financial service reviews. So my clients were basically super, insurance, small banks or international banks as well. We had a lot of the Asian banks, which was nice, just to get a good feel of how they also operate as well. And then I was obviously working for corporate team and the government team as well. So again, doing those basic duties, ad hoc, scope documents, budgeting, writing reports, doing the testing, little things like that, just to sort of get a feel of how everything is run. And honestly, that was my first year done and dusted. And then by the end of the year, we had our Christmas party, we had all of the social events, and my firm was definitely big on the socializing. So that was a lot of fun. We had like an internal audit, our risk consulting wide Christmas party, and then we also had a firm-wide one as well, and obviously all of the social events in between. So definitely a great year, and I learned so much in my first year. Some of the learnings that I want to share with you, I'm going to just mention them here in case you are starting to be a first year grad. I know it won't happen now unless you do sort of request to start early, but you generally do start grad when it is February, I believe. I remember starting February 20th is when I started in 2017. So still a bit of time, but if you have opted in to start early, then this may apply to you. But a few of the learnings that I would like to share with you include asking a lot of questions. Now, you are a grad for a reason. You're not meant to, you're not expected to know everything. And I think asking questions early on will actually not make you feel dumb. In case you're worried about, asking questions and you feel like it's a silly question, if you ask it in your first year, it's not considered to be a silly question because you honestly are a grad. You've just come out of, university and you don't know what's going on. So I think it's fine to be asking those silly questions in your first year. It's honestly such a comfortable environment. So yeah, no question is a silly or dumb question. Just ask it and it would honestly just make your life a lot easier instead of, you pretending like you know what you're doing and then it comes to the end of the review and then your senior reviews it and they come back to you and be like, what have you done? So I think it's very important to ask those questions up front just to avoid those mistakes later down the track. Another thing is you've got a buddy for a reason. Whenever you start out as a grad, you're assigned a buddy, someone who can sort of, take you under their wing. You can shadow them. They are the ones that usually provide the work to you as well in some cases. So be comfortable with your buddy. If you're not comfortable with your buddy and you're not really, open enough to talk to them about things, then find someone who is, because I think having that sort of person there that's your go-to person for any question, I think is very important. It just makes it easier for yourself. And also just say yes to everything because work is constantly dropping. There's new things coming in. You don't want to miss any opportunity trying to get your hands on learning something. So say yes to all of the opportunities that do come your way because you rather be busy than not busy. And I think it just helps out with your utilization, even though it doesn't matter in your first year. But I think saying yes to just get your hands dirty with a lot of different things and understanding how internal audit or any firm really works for that matter. And I think if you are within the risk consulting or internal audit division, then it's very important to be curious and very inquisitive because that's what the role sort of entails and that's what it involves. You are meant to sort of, try to find answers and be a bit of a detective and investigate and see, why are things working the way that they are and why aren't they working? Is this thing meant to be here? Do you have the appropriate, processes, standards, controls in place, etc. So be that, curious person, ask the questions and really sort of be involved and be alert and know, what's happening around you so you're able to pick out things that aren't working and those that are. So those are a few of the learnings that I wanted to share with you guys. I hope you guys found that helpful and informative. And if you are starting off your first year as a grad, then definitely let me know. Leave a comment down below, what's your experience been like so far? What are you excited about? Where are you working? And what country you're from as well. I'd love to know if this is very similar in other countries as well. And if you haven't already, then please do follow me on my Instagram page, Success by Sanjna. I'll leave all of the information down below in the description box. But that is it. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video and I will catch you guys in my next one. Thanks guys.